A retired motor racing expert has been killed. The shotgun he was cleaning went off in his face. Robert Bobby Bell, 72, died at the farmhouse he shared with his wife Aline on Monday when the gun accidentally fired, leaving him with catastrophic head injuries. Police and paramedics were called to Madgehole Farm in Shamley Green, Surrey just after 2:30 p.m., but he was pronounced dead at the scene. It is understood that his wife was also at home when the accidental shooting took place on a quiet road where the average home costs £2.1 million. Robert Bobby Bell, 72, died at the farmhouse he shared with his wife Aline on Monday afternoon when the gun accidentally went off. In an autobiographical section on his former company's website, Mr. Bell revealed his love of cars and motor racing, which led him to a career in selling Lotus sports vehicles. Mr. Bell's body was taken to the mortuary at the Royal Surrey County Hospital in Guildford, where a post-mortem examination will be carried out. Mr. Bell's body was taken to the mortuary at the Royal Surrey County Hospital in Guildford, where a post-mortem examination will be carried out. An inquest was expected to be opened and adjourned to a later date. The death was not being treated as suspicious. The 72-year-old launched his firm Bell & Colville as a Lotus dealer in 1970 with business partner Martin Colville, having sold the British-made sports cars since 1965. In an autobiographical section on his former company's website, Mr. Bell revealed his love of cars and motor racing, which led him to a career in selling Lotus sports vehicles. Related articles previous. 1 Next. Serial killer Rose West's nephew is jailed for 18 years for schoolboy, 15, who murdered teacher Anne McGuire during. Share this article. Share script dm.later, bundle, function, if, dm.rotator, new dm.rotator, p22, page size, 1, page count, 1.0, active class, active, rotate, false, $, number p22.share.on, click, function, dms.facebook.post related. School for me rather got in the way of my passions, he said. First it was model aeroplanes and then pretty soon after it was cars. Whatever it is I'm into, I'm really into, so as soon as I could I got my first car, an MG J2. I stripped it to bare metal and rebuilt it, and the day I passed my test I took it out for the first time, and drove it straight into a milk float. It didn't put me off. I sold the bits and got an M-Type. Then a Magnet, and then a Lotus 7. At last I could do the one thing I wanted more than anything else, to go motor racing. The 72-year-old launched his firm Bell & Colville as a Lotus dealer in 1970 with business partner Martin Colville, having sold the British-made sports cars since 1965. Mr. Bell, pictured wearing sunglasses, was taken to the mortuary at the Royal Surrey County Hospital in Guildford, where a post-mortem examination will be carried out. I turned my back on a career in architecture, the course was much too long, and got a job as a salesman with Coombs the Jaguar dealers in Guildford, Surrey. With their racing 3.8s and lightweight E-types, it was a way of getting close to the action. I drove my Lotus 7 to work during the week and raced it at weekends, and in 1962 I had my first sports car race. A front-engined Lola followed the 7 and then a mid-engined Piper, and suddenly I was racing the likes of two-time Formula One world champion Jim Clark in support races at the British Grand Prix, and getting paid to do it. That was how things were in the 1960s. He explained that he first met his business partner at a Lotus dealership in Pilley, Surrey, in the mid-1960s when Mr. Colville was a customer before eventually opening for business as Bell & Colville Ltd, Lotus dealers. There was so much pent-up energy and enthusiasm that for the first 9 years we couldn't do a thing wrong, despite the awful recession and 3-day week, he added. Police and paramedics were called to Madgehole Lane, pictured, in Shamley Green, Surrey just after 2:30 p.m., but he was pronounced dead at the scene. Our secret? Hard graft. In our enthusiasm we worked 7 days a week. Failure was never an option. He continued, as enthusiasts ourselves we have only ever wanted to sell real drivers' cars, even though these haven't always been the easiest to deal with. That's kept us on our toes. It might have been easier, but I would never have wanted just to sell just another boring car. We have always gone for the enthusiast mark, not just sports cars but also Saab and Subaru. I think we are the free spirits of the car world. Of course we haven't just sold cars. We have modified them too. We did a turbocharged Esprit well before Lotus ever did, and tuned them and come up with accessories. The way buyers could personalize the first Lotus Elise with bell and Colville accessories was groundbreaking. Because we drive, and have raced, these cars ourselves, we know what it is they need. An inquest into the death of Mr. Bell, right, was expected to be opened and adjourned to a later date. The death was not being treated as suspicious.